you do?
Yes, and
okay.
that may be real traffic. Nobody knows. I can't get a hold of the United 175 at all right now, and I don't know where he went to.
I think an airplane just plowed into the city.
They did. The World Trade Center hit the top.
No, another one. We just saw another one do it.
Another one?
Yeah.
Michael Horrocks was the first officer on Flight 175, United Flight 175, which was the second flight to strike the World Trade Center.
The terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001 rocked the country and affected many lives. Of the nearly 3,000 lives lost that day, 2 legacies would come full circle 15 years later in the same resilient city. Michael Horrocks' son Mick would return to New York accompanied by loved ones and his High Point lacrosse teammates to participate in a yearly tradition of healing and remembrance, the Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers Run. The journey from that infamous day to this poignant return is one filled with grief, endurance, love, and family.
Everything that was associated with it, and all being positive, I thought that was something I wanted our guys to experience. And the last connection was just Mick. I mean, it was just, a guy on our team who, suffered a tragic loss, but, took that loss and used it as a celebration of life going forward. And I wanted, our guys to see that. I wanted our guys to experience that and understand, what this young man and what his family have been through. I wanted them to celebrate the life of his father, who, by all accounts, from everybody that I've ever talked to that had an association with him or that knew him, said he was just an amazing, amazing guy. I mean, the stories about Michael Horrocks are, legendary in terms of some of the things that he did. And I wanted the guys to get to know that and see that.
He actually talked to us, I think, last year about it. And then he brought it up again to all the seniors, and he asked me first and said, would you be okay with doing this? And is this something you would want to do? And then I took it to the rest of the seniors and asked those guys, and the whole team, I think, actually, and I asked them, like, hey, if you guys want to do this, like Coach Torpey asked me, and like I think it would be great for like a team building exercise. And what do you guys think about it? And everyone was just immediately like, yeah, let's do it, like we want to do it. So
Mick and I actually spoke to the parents group, to the freshman parents when we introduced the idea. And how we presented it was it gives the boys a chance to be a part of something that's bigger than they are as individuals, which is what it means to be part of a team and what it means to be part of our country. Every
single guy in the snap of a finger was on board, and we were able to raise over $19,000 in a GoFundMe account, and I think another $12,000 through t-shirt sales in really no time. So it all came about just really, again, with a lot of different connections, but just wanting to honor the life of someone that we all knew was a pretty special person.
Though Mick was only 6 years old when his father passed, Michael's memory was kept alive by his family. His brother, Bill, Mick's uncle, stepped in to help the family and build even stronger relationships with Michael's greatest legacy, his children.
After we lost Michael, our neighbors across the street had invited Mick to go play hockey, and he got really involved in competitive ice hockey early on at age 6 and really loved ice hockey, and it really wasn't enjoying baseball at all. And somebody had said to him, oh, lacrosse is works really well with the hockey season because they're complementary and it's not quite as long as the baseball season. And so I talked to Bill about it, and Bill, completely wanted them to play. So wanted him to play. So Mick came to me and said, I'd really like to do lacrosse and try lacrosse. And I said, okay, well, let's call Uncle Bill.
For me, it was very important because it allowed me to help fill a void. At least as far as my life and remaining engaged with Mick as he grew and developed, and at the same time gave me the opportunity to hopefully fill some portion of Mick's life with the relationship with me that would help him understand his father a little better.
I hear a lot from my mom and my sister and just family in general, kind of just how much I'm like him, which is kind of weird for me to hear, just because I didn't necessarily get that image of him just because I was so young. So it was it's harder for me to kind of compare what he was like. I know what he was like as a father to a 6-year-old, but not necessarily as a man. So I think that, like, to me is like really, it's special for me to like hear that and hear other people say that, and just to know like the impact that he left on me from such a young age to the point where he's kind of still affecting the person that I am today.
The things that made him the proudest and gave him the brightest light in his eyes were always the things he did with his kids. And I think you can see some of that that love that he gave them as young children continuing to grow today and help make them who they are.
As Mick focused more on lacrosse, his athletic potential flourished. Much like Michael, a heralded quarterback at Westchester University, Mick was also destined for a Division I future. He would be among the first classes to help build an upstart program.
Jon Torpey from High Point knew some of the Malvern coaches at the time, and had Mick down for the weekend and had really done his homework on Mick and heard what kind of kid he was and felt that Mick was the kind of kid that he wanted in the program.
Honestly, we just wanted Mick to be happy. And when we met Jon and we met Pat Tracy, we knew that this was going to be a good fit. And there were things that happened along the way that just kind of confirmed, yes, this was going to be a good fit for him.
A lot of people in Philly had amazing things to say about him, both as a player and as a character guy. We like guys with a hockey background, and he's got a pretty strong hockey background. He was a really competitive ice hockey player. But when I met him, his mom, and Paul Eisenberg, his father, just absolutely fell in love with the family. And we've been, very, interested in making sure we bring in great families into our program, great parents into our program, and just meeting them the first time and kind of hearing their story and finding out who they're, what they're all about. It was a no-brainer. He was a guy that I felt like was going to make our locker room stronger, and a family that was going to make our locker room stronger, and just people that I wanted to associate with our program.
Mick just really wanted a place where it was family. He likes that. He likes the camaraderie. He likes being part of a team. He likes being part of a group. He wants to be part of something that is creating something bigger than one individual can do.
Through his 4 years at High Point, Mick earned the respect and adoration of his teammates and coaches. A warm friend to everyone in the program and a respected member of his squad, Mick earned the ultimate team honor, being named captain heading into his senior year.
Yeah, Mick's just a tremendous person. I mean, you see him, you see what he's gone through, not only with his father, 9/11, but his mother battling and beating cancer a couple years ago. Just such a tremendous kid. You'll never hear him say a negative word. You'll never hear him complain. You'll never hear him whine. He's had some injuries since he's been here, but just such a team-first guy, such a hard-working kid, and just the kind of kid you want to build your program around. And it's been such a blessing having the opportunity to coach a person like that and to get to know a family like the Horrocks, Eisenberg family.
Mick has always been a quiet leader. He leads through example. He leads by the way he leads his life, and that's exactly the way Michael was. I mean, he was that way as a college quarterback. He was that way as a Marine flight instructor, and he was that way as a pilot, a United pilot. He was just a quiet leader.
With my brother, and it's the same with Mick, it's really a quiet confidence of just, hey, I'm here, I'm a teammate, I'm doing what I need to do to make us all successful.
He's the best friend to everyone on the team. He's someone that I look up to personally, which might be strange to say someone your own age, but he's just such a good guy and a great teammate, a great leader, a great person off the field, someone that you can go to at any time to talk and to be there for. You know that he has your back for anything. You can look up to him for advice, for anything in life.
Maybe some of our most important guys are guys that don't really play as much as, a starter, an all-conference guy, or an all-American, but their, meaning and their importance to the team is just tremendous. And I think those people that have handled the adversity of maybe playing time issues or injuries or, obviously things that have happened off the field, those are the guys that tend to do very, very well when they graduate. It's not the first time they've heard no, and I think Mick is definitely an example of those guys, but it's just been incredible to get to know him as a person, to see him as a competitor, to see him as a leader, and this guy's going to be the limit for him when he graduates from here.
With wheels in motion and fundraising goals reached, Mick and his teammates boarded a bus headed north with the Horrocks-Eisenberg family in tow. The trip would be emotional, uplifting, and ultimately triumphant.
We met with Mick and Mick's mom, down there and just kind of talk to them. She expressed how grateful she was for all of us just to kind of come together as a family and to support Mick and to support this event.
In the planning of the event, it kind of was a healing type of event for us to be able to, some of these kids have never been in New York City before. So the opportunity to be able to share the experience of New York City, not to mention, for them to be able to see the museum.
It was really neat to be able to see them, I guess, kind of like learn about it and like understand what happened that day, and kind of get like a glimpse into just like the lives of all these people that were affected directly and indirectly like from that event, and understand what happened to our country on that day.
Well, you can't even put into words what the museum was, and we also went to the memorial. We saw Mick's father's name on that, and I mean, it's speechless when you're there. You just realize that you're so small in this world, and that this really impacted so many people, and you just see people's names on there, and just the amount of people that were affected by it, and you feel so small, and that all of your problems are not really that big when such a tragic event like this happens.
They came out different than they went in, and that was obvious just from talking to them after they came out of the museum.
And to be able to come back and do the run and see the memorial and see just kind of like the new building, I was there, and just all of New York in a different light for me. It was something that it gave me like a lot of like faith, I guess, and just like people in general, and just how like far I guess we've come as a country, and how not only do we not forget what happened that day, but how beautiful we can turn such tragedy like that into.
Events started early on race day as participants gathered in Red Hook, Brooklyn to assemble into their groupings and head toward the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, a unique opening leg of a race that recreates Stephen Siller's heroic run to Ground Zero. The journey was both humbling and empowering for many runners, but for Mick Horrocks Eisenberg, the emotional odyssey began the night before with a chance encounter in her hotel lobby.
There was a gentleman walking across the lobby, and he had the Stephen Siller pullover on. And so we got to chatting, and finally I shared with him our loss, and he gave me a big hug, and he said, Stephen Siller was my brother. And it was just such a moving moment to be there with somebody who had been able to take something so horrific and turn it into something that was really truly beautiful for another person. And to be able to share that with him, and for him to share it with me, was really great.
We took the bus, from Manhattan over to Brooklyn. Got there in enough time to get out of the bus and kind of experience the race day activities. You got Mayor Giuliani there speaking. You've got members of the Siller family there speaking, and you've got all these different runners in full fire regalia. You've got guys in bomb diffusing suits. I mean, all these amazing things you're looking at, 9/11 survivors. You've got, families there representing their, loved ones that were lost. You've got fire companies representing their loved ones that were lost. And to just take part in that and be there, I mean, it was one of those days where you're just so proud to be an American and so proud to just be a part of such an amazing country and something that's bigger than yourself.
Really just seeing as many people there that there was. I think there was upwards of 20,000, north of that maybe. And just seeing the amount of USA chants started in the tunnel, and just kind of seeing everyone and really thinking about their lives in the way that like they were maybe affected, or if they knew someone that had unfortunately lost their life that day, and really thinking about other people's story and realizing how much bigger it was than just yourself.
I don't think I quite anticipated the range of emotions that I felt as I ran through the tunnel.
To come out of the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel and to see, 250, firefighters and police officers and Port Authority officers and people that had passed away in 9/11, and banners that represented them, and then having the New York City Drum and Pipe Corps play, and have, the fireboats, shooting water out, and just to see that, and to just see the excitement level on people's faces, and the USA chants, and just again, just an incredible day, and just, I think for anybody that was associated with it or has done that, it's hard to put into words, and I think for anyone that hasn't, it's something that, you definitely want to experience.
I think this would be right up there with winning a conference championship, if not above it. This is something I'll never forget in my life. Definitely a moment that I will cherish for the rest of my life. I look back on it and say I'm grateful for it, I'm grateful for the opportunity, something that made me a better person, made me appreciate my life more, and I think everyone on the team can agree with that.
Again, it's something that I'd love for my guys to experience again. I'd love for another wave of families to know about the Horrocks story, know about the Horrocks family, know about their impact on our program. And again, another group of people that's out there to be able to celebrate the life of just such an amazing man.
I'm proud of Mick. I'm proud of the man that he has become. And I know it hasn't always been easy for him. And he's had some really hard decisions to make. And he's handled them with grace and dignity. And he's just really an exemplary person. And I'm proud to be his mom.
Mick Horrocks.
The race promotes this feeling of we're all here together, and we're all here to do something really good for other people. That it's not about the pain and the suffering and the loss. It's about what we do with that and how we move forward with that and how we can affect positively. And that's what this team does, and that's what the fire department does, and that's what the New York City police officers do. And it's all about making sure that we're affecting the world positively.